Welcome back to Blockchain Ardor. I'm your host, Crypto Demetrius. Thanks for tuning in. This is a series funded by Gellerita dedicated to tours and tutorials of the applications and functionalities available on the world's first solar-powered multi-chain ecosystem, Ardor. In this installment, we'll be tackling two of the most critical issues facing blockchain platforms at the moment: customizing end-user fees for dApps so that they can be as low as zero, and hedging to provide predictable day-to-day business transaction expenses on the blockchain. Before we get started, take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel to stay updated as new episodes of Blockchain Ardor are released. Now, for large-scale adoption of blockchain technology to occur, users of blockchain-based business services need to experience predictable fee structures. If you're playing a game or have a membership of some kind, you probably even expect free transactions to be part of the experience. Businesses set their fees based on regular reviews of cash flow projections, but the current market leaders like Ethereum do not offer any means of controlling end-user fees and day-to-day business transaction expenses. The Ardor ecosystem has a process known as bundling that solves these issues, allowing businesses to provide end users with customized fees as low as zero while hedging their day-to-day business transaction expenses. By the end of this episode, developers and businesses working at exchanges, investment platforms, retail stores, or any other membership or subscription-based platform might start to have some exciting ideas on how to replicate their offerings on the blockchain. Let's take a moment to understand the basics. Child chains do not have a means of verifying their own transactions because they have no way of performing their own consensus. These transactions must be packaged and sent to the Ardor parent chain for validation. This packaging process is called bundling, and anyone can participate as long as you have 1,000 Ardor and your node is online. Bundlers receive the transaction fees from child chain transactions in the native child chain token while paying Ardor from their own account to send these transactions for validation on the Ardor chain. For example, if you bundle Ignis, you will be spending Ardor while receiving fees paid in Ignis. Given the fact bundlers are the ones paying to include transactions on the parent chain, this means the option exists for bundlers to provide child chain or dApp users with customized or even free transaction fees. The owner of the bundler can then calculate expected monthly transaction volumes and purchase batches of Ardor ahead of time to cover the costs of bundling those child chain transactions to the Ardor parent chain. It's essentially hedging on the blockchain. The basic option for controlling end-user fees is to set up a bundler for all transactions occurring on a given child chain, like Ignis. However, if your business launches an asset on a child chain, you can create a custom bundler that only packages transactions involving your asset, so that you only spend Ardor to support relevant transactions. Perhaps you want to offer reduced transaction fees for transactions involving your asset, or free transaction fees. You can do that too. Let's get started with a demonstration of how to set up a basic child chain bundler. Then we can continue the discussion of more advanced options. Open the client wallet and log into your desired child chain. For this demo, I'll be going to the Ignis chain, but the process is the same for each child chain. Once you are on the Ignis chain, click the gear symbol and select the bundler option. We land on a page that shows all of the current bundlers and the rates they are charging. You will be competing against these bundlers. Click the Start button in the upper right corner and a pop-up box will appear. Here, you must set the fees you will charge for bundling Ignis transactions. This is an important step. Make sure to do your calculations properly. The first box, minimum rate, is the exchange rate. As of August 2nd, 2018 in the Ardor Coin Exchange, you could buy 2.41 Ignis for every 1 Ardor. This means you should set your minimum rate to approximately 2.41 Ignis. Please do your own research before you set this rate. Cryptocurrency markets are volatile, so you need to do your own research when you're making these decisions. The next box is the fee limit. This is the maximum amount of Ardor that you're willing to spend to bundle transactions at this minimum rate. Consider the formula on the screen. Ardor you pay equals fee limit plus fee limit times overpay. The total Ardor you pay has no minimum, but the maximum is your Ardor balance. Again, the market is volatile, so it's a good idea to set small windows of fee limits, bundling at specific rates so that you don't get caught off guard by unanticipated market changes. The next option, overpay, represents the extra Ardor you're willing to pay per child chain transaction to outcompete other bundlers. At the moment, this is unnecessary, so just enter 0. But let's take a moment to consider when this would make sense. Bundlers receive the fees paid in native child chain tokens while spending Ardor. So if the value of a particular child chain token exceeds Ardor, it may become economically in the best interest of bundlers to overpay with Ardor in order to be the one that receives the fees paid out in that child chain token. This truly creates a competitive free market around the bundling process. Anyways, we're just about done here. Take a moment to double check your rates are all correct. Remember to check your math. Ardor you pay equals fee limit plus fee limit times overpay. As an example, if I change the overpay to 0.1 while maintaining a fee limit of 100, I will spend up to 110 Ardor. Once you are satisfied with the rates, enter your passphrase and click Start. That's it. Keep your bundler online and you should be good to go. If you would like to stop your bundler, you can do so by navigating to the Bundlers section, clicking on My Bundlers, and then clicking Stop. Consider the business implications of this process. Users of dApps and services literally never need to interact directly with the Ardor parent chain. They may not even realize they're dealing with the blockchain at all, since fees can be eliminated and customized by the business running the dedicated bundler. For businesses running a dedicated bundler, you can track exchange rates and purchase large orders of Ardor when it's most favorable for your financial projections, effectively hedging against day-to-day market volatility while providing consistent customer experiences. There are still some issues though. What if your business launches an asset on Ignis and wants to provide reduced fees for transactions involving only your asset, but you don't want to waste your Ardor bundling transactions that don't involve your asset? Or what if your business has tiered fee structures for different levels of membership? The Ardor ecosystem allows businesses to build their own custom bundlers to address each of these scenarios. To make the process more accessible to businesses, Gellerita is releasing more bundler templates in August 2018, but we can utilize the account property bundler today to get a sense of just how powerful custom bundlers can be. Consider this. If you were to set up a normal bundler like we did just a moment ago, but you set the minimum rate to 0, there's a high likelihood the network would be spammed and your Ardor would be burned through with no value creation. This is because literally anyone could take advantage of your zero-fee bundler. With the account property bundler, we can limit this pool of participants. Businesses that charge membership fees already have a list of verified accounts. Therefore, you can utilize the account property bundler to create a whitelist so that your bundler only packages zero-fee or low-fee transactions originating from those accounts. This process is a bit more advanced, but it only takes 2 minutes. Let's do a demonstration of the account property bundler. The first thing we need to do is edit the nxt.properties file in the conf folder within the Ardor application because this functionality is not available by default. If you aren't familiar with the nxt.properties file, please refer to the resources in the video description below. Open your nxt.properties file and add the following. nxt.bundling filter equals nxt.addons.accountPropertyBundler. Save the updates. Next, fully shut down your Ardor node. Then, start it again. Once we log in, let's navigate to the Ignis chain and select Account Properties. In the upper right corner, click Set. Here, we will enter the first whitelisted address in the recipient line. Under Property, we will enter Bundling, and under Value, we do not need to enter anything. Perhaps you have client ID numbers or other information you want to include. Enter your passphrase, click Calculate, and then hit Set Property. You can continue setting up more and more whitelisted accounts. Next, you'll need to launch your bundler with the special rate. An important point here, the bundlers on this node will only function for the accounts listed here. If you would like to run a tiered fee structure, you will need to run a separate node, whitelist, and bundler per tier. For example, if you want a public bundler at the market rate and one with 0 fees for your paying members, you will need to run 2 nodes. The public node could utilize the basic bundler functionality, while the 0 fee member rates could be achieved using the account property bundler on a separate node. That's it for bundling. While these are the only templates for bundlers at the moment, additional templates are being released from Gellerita in their next software release. Additionally, developers are always welcome to create their own custom bundlers at any time. Hopefully this episode provided a sense of the strategic business design of the Ardor platform. The multi-chain environment has created the ability for businesses to customize fees for their end users while operating with predictable day-to-day transaction rates. I'll be back again soon with another episode of Blockchain Ardor. Until then, please like and subscribe to the Crypto Demetrius and Jalarita YouTube channels. Thanks for tuning in to the 4th installment of Blockchain Ardor.